Chapter 11, Areas of Polygons. Today we're going to cover Section 11.1, Areas of Rectangles. Objectives for today will be to understand what is meant by the area of a polygon, understand the area postulates, and know and use the formula for the area of a rectangle. Postulate 17. The area of a square is the square of the length of a side, and the formula A equals S squared. So if I told you over here that in this square that a side was 10 centimeters, then I would know that the area is going to equal 10 centimeters squared, which would give me 100 centimeters squared. Postulate 18, area congruence postulate. If two figures are congruent, then they have the same area. So if I told you that I had two squares and they both had the same exact side, then I would tell you that the areas are going to be exactly the same. They'd both end up giving you an area of 9. Postulate 19, the area of a region is the sum of the areas of its non-overlapping parts. So the big thing for this one is really just telling you that if I gave you a shape like this, and I told you the area of the various pieces, so if the area of the top piece, say, was 10 centimeters squared, and the area of the piece down here at the bottom was 8 centimeters squared, then I could tell you that the area of the whole shape is, add the two pieces together, is 18 centimeters squared. Theorem 11.1, the area of a rectangle equals the product of its base and height. So A equals BH. A lot of times you've also heard length and width. We're going to use base and height. So just multiply the two numbers together and you would have the area of the rectangle. So complete the following chart. They're giving me the base, height, and area for rectangles. So I noticed for the first one here, if I have a base of 12 and a height of 3 and I want to get the area, all I'm going to do is multiply them together. 12 times 3 is 36. And the units, meter times meter, would be a meter squared. For the middle one, they're giving me the area and the base, and I don't know the height. Well, I know 9 times some number is 54, so all I need to do is divide. 54 divided by 9 is 6, and the units would be meters. That way I would have meter times meter, giving me a meter squared. The next one, 8 squared root of 3 times 5 squared root of 3, and I want to find the area. Well, I know the area is going to be 8 square roots of 3 times 5 square roots of 3. And I think of doing this in parts. So I multiply the 8 and the 5 together, and I know that that's going to give me 40. Then I multiply the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, which is going to give me a 3. So final answer is going to be 40 times 3, which is 120. Off to the right, a y minus 2 and a y, and I know to get the area it's base times height, so I'm thinking that this is really just a y times a y minus 2, which just means distribute, and I get y squared minus 2y. How do you find the perimeter of a shape? Well, the perimeter of a shape is just adding up all of the pieces that go around the outside. So it doesn't matter if it's a rectangle, you add up the 4 pieces that go around the outside. If I have a triangle, I just add up the 3 pieces going around the outside. And it doesn't matter how many sides there are. So even if I have a pentagon, I would just add up the 5 pieces going around the outside and I'd get the perimeter. So now it says complete this chart, and this is going to be a chart for rectangles. So it didn't say that, but I'll tell you now. So dealing with rectangles. So I have the base, the height, trying to find the area, and then P is going to represent finding the perimeter. So let's get some workspace down at the bottom. And I'm even going to think of using sort of this sample rectangle here to draw some things in to help me out. So the first one is telling me that the base is 18 and the height is 3, and this is in centimeters. Right. So I know the area is base times height, so 18 times 3 gives me 54, and centimeter times centimeter is centimeter squared. Okay. The perimeter, I need to add up all the sides. Well, I notice that the top and the bottom are the same. The right and the left are the same. So I need to add up all 4 of these. Or, if you notice, I couldn't really just add up the base and the height and then double that answer because the values are in here twice. So I'm going to think of adding up the base and the height and doubling it. So if I add up the base and the height, I would have 18 plus 3, which is 21. Then I'm just going to double that, which is going to give me 42. And the units, well, if you're adding centimeter plus a centimeter plus a centimeter plus a centimeter, your units are still going to be in centimeters. Going to the second one, they give me that the base is 7.5 centimeters, and they give me that the perimeter is 39 centimeters. Okay. Well, I know that the base and the height over here, if I add them up and double it, I'm going to get 39. So let's see. So as a formula, that would look like 7.5 plus the height. If I double that, it's going to equal the perimeter of 39. Well, divide each side by 2. I get 7.5 plus my height equals 39 divided by 2 is 19.5. Subtract off 7.5 and you get that the height is 12. And the units are going to be in centimeters. Now I need to find the area. Well, I know that the area is just base times height. So at this point, I'm just multiplying my 12 times my 7.5. And let's see what 12 times 7.5 is. And I get 90. And the area is going to be centimeters squared. Looking over at the next one, they're giving me that the base is 25, so I'll fill that in right away. That the area is 150 meters squared. And I know that base times height, 25 times I don't know the height, will equal 150. Divide each side by 25, and you end up getting 6. Now for the perimeter. Well, I know the perimeter, I add the base and the height, and then I just double that answer. So 6 plus 25, doubling that answer is going to be 2 times 31, which is 62. And I know that the units will just be meters. I'm looking at a problem with some variables, so tending to go a little bit slower so I don't make a mistake. I know that my base is 4y, my height is 3y minus 1, and if I want to find the area, I just need to multiply these two together. So 4y times 3y minus 1. I'll distribute. 4y times 3y is 12y squared. 4y times a minus 1 will give me minus 4y. And there aren't any units, so here's my final answer. 12y squared minus 4y. Looking at the perimeter. Well, I know that the perimeter is going to equal adding these two pieces together and then doubling that answer. So it's going to be double what I get when I take 4y and add 3y minus 1. So 4y plus 3y is 7y, and then I still have the minus 1. And now if I distribute the 2, I get 14y minus 2. Going to the next one over. Dealing with some variables here as well, so I'm going to try to be careful as I go through. They're telling me that the base is x minus 2, and they're telling me the perimeter. So what I don't know is the height. So I know if I want to find the perimeter though, it's double what I get when I add the two together. So x minus 2 added with whatever the height is. Okay. And in this case, I actually know what the perimeter is. It's 6x minus 4, so I'm going to write 6x minus 4 equals 2 times x minus 2 plus h. And let's distribute. So I get 6x minus 4 equals 2 times x is 2x, 2 times minus 2 is minus 4, and 2 times h is 2h. Trying to get h by itself so I can know what the height is. So at this point, I'm going to subtract 2x on each side. I'm going to add 4 on each side. And that's really nice, it cancels on each side. So at this point, I have 4x equals 2h, divide by 2, and I get that the height is 2x. And I'm left with trying to find the area at this point, and I know the area is base times height, so it's going to be a 2x times an x minus 2. Distribute, and I would get 2x squared minus 4x. And up to our last one. They're giving me the base is k, and telling me that the area is k squared minus 4k. So filling in the diagram, my base is k. I'm going to try to find what the height is, and I know what the area equals. So I know area is my base, k times my height, and I know I can fill in for the area. It's k squared minus 4k. Okay. Trying to get the height by itself. Well, if I'm trying to get the height by itself, I want to divide and get rid of k. Well, over on the left side, k squared divided by k is k, minus 4k divided by k is a 4. And now I've just figured out my height. My height is k minus 4. Trying to find the perimeter now. I know that the perimeter is twice what I get when I add the base and the height. So if I add that together, I get, in the parentheses, k plus k is 2k, so I have the minus 4. Distributing the 2, and I get 4k minus 8.